when you first learned how to drive a car, you didn't have a memory of how to drive a car. You had to practice and practice. Well, practicing driving the car creates a habit. So driving the car, you don't have to pay attention with your conscious mind. After you drive the car a long time, you can do it unconsciously. You just drive down the street. So I say, okay, look, you get a passenger in the car with you. And you go down the street and you get involved with a discussion. I said, well, the conversation you're carrying out with your conscious mind. So your conscious mind's not paying attention to the road. It's talking to the passenger. And I go, yeah, but you could drive 10 minutes maybe, and then at some point look out the window and go, I haven't paid attention to the road for 10 minutes. I've been in a conversation. I said, well, you didn't hit anything. You're still doing good. I said, who drove the car? Not the conscious mind. It was in the discussion. The subconscious mind, and it's 1,000,000 times more powerful as a computer than the conscious mind, so it's 1,000,000 times more powerful driving the car than your conscious mind. Okay, well, here's the issue. You just drive 10 minutes, you've been in a conversation, you look out the window and you realize, I haven't paid attention to the road for 10 minutes. And I go, okay, look, can you tell me what your conversation was all about? You go, yeah, because my conscious mind, I can tell you, I was there in the conversation. I say, can you tell me what happened on the road for the last 10 minutes? The answer is, I didn't pay attention. I was in the conversation. I go, that's the point. All of our things, from driving a car to doing the job at work to talking to somebody, can be carried out by the automatic programs in the subconscious mind, but the conscious mind will only know what it was focusing on. So if I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing, then the behavior I'm using is not from my creative mind, it's from my subconscious mind. Okay, now here is the last piece of this. The first 6 years of your life, your brain is in a record state to download information in the subconscious mind. And it's recording behavior not from you, it's observing your parents, it's observing your family, it's observing your community. So as a kid, the first 6 years of your life, you are being hypnotized by observing everybody else. So the subconscious programs, the fundamental subconscious programs, are not even yours. You downloaded them from watching other people. So your own subconscious mind is playing programs that you copied from other people. They're not even your programs. They're not your wishes. They're not your desires. They're other people's belief systems. This is not new. The Jesuits, for 500 years, would say, give me the child and I will show you the man. Or they would say, give me a child until it's 6 or 7 and it will belong to the church for the rest of its life. What did they know? They knew that if I get the first 6 years of your program, that's the basic programs in your subconscious mind, that the rest of your life, 95% of your life is going to come from that subconscious. So whatever I put in the first 6 years, I don't care what your wishes and desires are, because your life, 95% is going to come from those programs. So your life today is really a reflection of your wishes and desires 5% of the time, and your subconscious programs 95% of the time. And if the fundamental subconscious programs came from other people, then you're not creating your wishes and desires, you're creating what the program is. Yeah. And then you go back over the program, and psychologists will tell you this: 70% or more of the programs are negative and redundant and self-sabotaging. And so if 70% of our programs that we downloaded are negative and we're playing them 95% of the time, guess what? That's why our lives never really look like what we wish and desire. It's not because we're not creating our lives, it's just that our wishes and desires are only working 5% of the time. And then you say, oh, well, wait a minute. So I am creating my beliefs that other people gave me. I go, yeah, so it's not your life anymore. It's what you've been programmed. And we've generally all been disempowered with the programming of, oh, we're frail, we're vulnerable, viruses will get us, don't eat sugar, we're going to die, all these kinds of things like that. It's like, that's not true. And then here comes, this is the understanding. What if you made the programs of your conscious mind the programs of your recorded subconscious behavior, so that your subconscious, when your conscious is not paying attention, will still play the same programs that were in your conscious mind? Then you'd be creating your life. And then you say, well, Bruce, you talk about, my mind creating my life. And I look at my life and I go, yes, my life doesn't match what's in my mind. I go, yeah, that's because you're playing the 95% subconscious. And then you go, give me some better proof of what can I manifest? And then I go, okay, go back in your life. Go back to a time when you fell head over heels in love with somebody. Where that big love, where you were living that, what I call the honeymoon effect. I said, what's the honeymoon effect? I said, go back to that time in your life where you fell big time in love with somebody. I go, were you healthy at that time? Almost everybody go, yeah, I was exuberantly healthy. I go, did you have energy? They go, oh, we had so much energy. We made love for days without stopping for food. We had so much energy. And I go, okay, was life so wonderful in that honeymoon that you couldn't wait for the next day because it was so beautiful to be here? And you go, yeah, it was great. And I go, would that be sort of like living in heaven? Did you create heaven? In other words, that wasn't an accident, that honeymoon. That was something you did. I said, I lived in that moment and I created harmony and beauty and health and energy and everything was so great. And I said, was heaven on earth? The answer is yes. I said, so what was unique about the honeymoon? And here's what's so important. That wasn't an accident. That was a creation. You created heaven on earth during what is called the honeymoon. And I said, well, how did you do that? All of a sudden, your life may have been crap right up to that moment. And then from that moment on, it was beautiful. I said, what happened? And here's the answer. When we're in love, the conscious mind stays in the present moment because it doesn't want to travel. It's already got everything it wants right here. Why does the conscious mind want to leave?
Yes.
Guess what? When you stay in the conscious mind, then you're creating a life of your wishes and desires and what you want. And I said, well, that honeymoon is great, but then somehow or other that honeymoon disappears. It's not the same. I go, what happened? And here's the fun part. Because the honeymoon part was I had to keep my conscious mind present at this moment to stay in this love state. But then I said, but life still goes on. Life gets busy. You got to pay the rent. You got to fix the car. You got so many things going on in your mind. I say, what happens? Well, at some point, your conscious mind doesn't stay present. It starts to travel, saying, oh, I got to take care of this at work, and I have to fix this, and I'm solving things in my head. And then your loving partner, which you've had this honeymoon effect with, asks you something very simple, and your mind is not there. And when you make a response, it's coming from the subconscious. I go, yeah, but what response am I coming from the subconscious? I said, well, in my case, as a male, I watched my father, and I downloaded his behavior. And all of a sudden, I get my partner who's been loving, and we had this great honeymoon, comes up and asks me a simple question, and my mind's not there because I'm thinking about something. I turn around and I make a response the way my father did. And my partner looks at me like, what kind of behavior is that? Who are you? I haven't seen this person.
Yeah.
And now here comes the joke. Because I just said something I didn't even hear. Why? Because I did it with my subconscious mind. Was I aware what I said? The answer is no, because my conscious mind was thinking, and I played the tape automatically. Did I see what I was doing? It's like driving the car. I didn't see what happened. But then it's like, now I've been accused of being somebody else, and it's like, oh, I've always been me. I'm the same person. I know what you're talking about. The fact is, the honeymoon ends because the honeymoon started with two conscious minds with both wishes and desires and aspirations for life, both of them creating in that consciousness the love that they both wanted. But when life gets busy and the conscious mind starts to disappear, thinking and stuff like that, then the habit programs that I run are not mine, they're my father's. Well, the issue about that, the honeymoon works when two conscious minds were together in the relationship, and the honeymoon ends when four minds show up, the two conscious minds and the two subconscious minds with completely different programs. And the honeymoon ends because now you have to compromise to accept the other person's behavior, which isn't theirs, but it was downloaded from their parents, and say, well, the relationship was really good when we were being conscious, and then it goes really crazy when we're not conscious. And how long's the honeymoon effect last? How long's the relationship last? And the answer is, how much can you accept of the other person's unconscious mind programs that will stretch you because you'll have to compromise some of the things that you thought were important. Somebody could be verbally abusive in their subconscious mind. And when they're not in their subconscious mind, everything is heaven on earth. And then they get in their subconscious mind. All of a sudden they get to be very abusive. And the recipient has to go, do I want to put up with that? And now I have to balance out, well, I really like the part where they're here and conscious, but I don't really like that part. And then you have to say, well, that's what determines whether the relationship is going to be made or break or what's going to go on, is how much you can accept of the unconscious behavior. And so
or is it that it's the heart, as you were explaining, and being in the present moment and really keeping on entertaining that love that will keep on creating of course a relationship of ease and grace and magic, but how can we stay with that open heart, with that, how can we stay there for that ease and grace to take place every day in every aspect of our life?
Okay, so here's the important thing. If we are operating 95% of our life from our subconscious programs, then look at your life, because it represents a printout of your subconscious programs. You're only contributing 5% from your conscious mind, so your life is 95% a printout. So what does it mean? It says, well, what's in my subconscious mind? I go, look, you weren't there for the first 6 years when it was being programmed, so you really don't know what was in there. But I can tell you what, you can know what's in there by looking at your life. Why? The things that work for you, that are easy and that you really like, are supported because your subconscious agrees with you having those things. Anything you struggle with, anything you have to work on, anything that becomes an effort, means you're going against a program that does not support that. So basically it says all you have to do is look at your life and say, anything I'm struggling with, I have a program in my subconscious mind that doesn't support that. You can go back and rewrite the subconscious programs. And why is that relevant? Because if I take all the ones that aren't working right and reinstall programs that give me the better output, what I would like to have, then guess what? If you take the beliefs and wishes from your conscious mind and put them as programs in your subconscious mind, then that means, think about it, 95% of the day when you're not paying attention, you're still playing the honeymoon programs. That means if you put in your wishes and desires in your subconscious mind, then you don't even have to be conscious of it. You will always be in the honeymoon program because you will automatically continue playing the honeymoon. So if that's true, which it is, then the relevance is, what if you created a mindset that this is heaven? What if this whole place is heaven? That everybody is here to create and not to interfere with each other and allow the expression and the activity and the reception of all those emotions and feelings and love and all that. If we could all do that with our common wishes and desires and let go of the negative beliefs, then this actually turns out to be the heaven that I already know it is. But it'll be experienced by more and more people. And when more and more people do this, we'll start living in love rather than living in the material realm, which is what has been destroying the planet. Because we put the physical realm over the spiritual realm in our current conventional science, that we look at, oh, spiritual stuff, that's religion, that's metaphysical, and that's like, oh, the physical stuff this is what life is all about. And I go, not really. When you understand quantum physics, it's the invisible stuff that is more important. Love is more important than a Ferrari. Why'd you get the Ferrari? Oh, because someone will love me if I have the Ferrari. It's like, look, why don't you just go for the love without the Ferrari? You could get that. And this is what we have to learn, is that the love that we want and experience is more priority to our survival than any of the material possessions we have. Love, if you're in full love, you don't even really need food, to tell you the truth, because we're so evolutionarily advanced. But the significance about that is we've been programmed not to see love. It's something elusive. You can't get there from here. That you should look out for the fear, what's going to scare you, who's going to hurt you. And so all of a sudden, since our perceptions create our reality, we're not perceiving heaven. We're saying, I want to get out of this hell so I can go to heaven. It's like, this was heaven. You just created hell out of it. That was a choice. That was a choice. Because if you change your subconscious programmings, then guess what? Then it's heaven all the time. It's heaven all the time.